Neighborhood with more. Good evening, Allie.
Good evening, Eric and Nikki. Just days after suspected East Area rapist Joseph DeAngelo was taken into custody right here on this block in front of his Citrus Heights home, the neighborhood has gone back to its usual calm state. But neighbors, they're now opening up about who DeAngelo was. Jim Chappell says he never saw it coming.
He hit it well. He hit it really well.
His neighbor 2 doors down is accused of being the East Area rapist Golden State Killer, a notorious criminal linked to a dozen murders and 50 rapes who went undetected for decades.
It's kind of surreal.
To Chappell and other neighbors, Joseph DeAngelo was simply a loud 72-year-old grandfather, a former police officer who often helped his neighbors.
He borrowed a glass of milk or a cup of milk from him for one day and then brought him a gallon the next day. So he was always friendly to all the neighbors and stuff. We called him a yeller, but come to find out he was a little hard of hearing.
DeAngelo appeared weak in court Friday, but Chappell says at home he had the strength to constantly work on his yard, his boat, and his cars.
But that's not the guy that we saw around the neighborhood, you know, working on his boat. Those rocks in his front yard, he would move those and weed eat under them. And I'm like, he was really, I mean, that yard was meticulously kept up. He kept it nice.
Chappell says DeAngelo lived with one of his daughters and his teenage granddaughter. He says he feels for the family, and until he hears a confession or sees a conviction, it probably won't feel real.
If they prove it's him 100%, I hope he gets what he gets what's coming. So.
And what is that?
I hope he spends the rest of his life in jail, honestly.
And up until a couple years ago, DeAngelo worked as a truck mechanic at a Save Mart distribution center in Roseville. Coming up at 6 o'clock, you're going to hear from one of DeAngelo's former co-workers and friends who says DeAngelo never called in sick to work and he was missing part of his finger. More on that coming up at 6. For now, we're live in Citrus Heights. Allie Wolf, Fox 40 News.
All right, thank you, Allie. We'll see you tonight at 6 o'clock. Joseph DeAngelo may have his day in court outside of Sacramento.